No significant changes are expected for All Elite Wrestling on Warner Bros. Discovery for quite some time, despite the announcement this week that Netflix was acquiring the media conglomerate. We've got all the details on that. Plus, Obafemi is the brand new NXT champion, defeating Ricky Saints last night at NXT Deadline, meaning he'll be facing undisputed WWE champion Cody Rhodes next weekend at WWE Saturday Night's Main Event. All this and more in this news update. Hey guys, welcome back to Wrestling News 365. Hope everyone is doing very well. As always, there are plenty of news stories to get into in the world of professional wrestling. Let's begin with more reaction to the announcement that Netflix was acquiring Warner Bros. Discovery earlier this week, and just what it could mean for All Elite Wrestling, if anything at all. Now, if you missed the story earlier on this week, certainly it was a significant one because a huge shift in the world of streaming and entertainment was announced this week after Netflix announced the acquisition of Warner Bros. Discovery in a multi-billion-dollar deal. In terms of the impact on the professional wrestling world, questions were raised over the future of AEW in particular, given that the company currently airs on HBO Max streaming service and WBD stations in TNT and TBS. Of course, as part of this deal, it has been reported that Netflix is not acquiring TNT and TBS. That's going to be in a separate company spun off called Discovery Global, but Netflix was acquiring HBO and HBO Max, so there could be little impact or some impact on AEW, but as of right now, there's still so many questions and so much is still up in the air. Now, critically, and this is certainly why people are talking about this, notably, Netflix is the current home of WWE programming worldwide and of Monday Night Raw in the United States, providing some element of crossover in the worlds of the two rival companies. At present, AEW's TV deal with Warner Bros. Discovery is set to run to the end of 2027 in a deal that is worth over $500 million with a one-year extension option at the end of it. For now, it seems as though AEW's future is secure under WBD and Netflix. Fightful Select offered a little more insight, with sources spoken to in AEW believing that there would be no significant impact or changes for quite some time. Of course, Tony Khan was asked about this in the post-Ring of Honor Final Battle press conference on Friday, and he said what many people had expected, that he has a very good relationship with WBD, only has good things to say about Warner Bros. Discovery as well as Netflix, pointing out that Netflix, WBD, and all of the rival bidders for Warner Bros. Discovery he's worked with when it comes to NFL coverage as well, once again stating that he was calm and that it was too early to talk about such things. Of course, if we get any more details on this story, we'll let you know in a future video. Now, Obafemi, once again, is the ruler of WWE NXT and is a two-time NXT champion. Starting the in-ring action of WWE NXT's premium live event Deadline was the NXT Championship bout between Obafemi and champion Ricky Saints. It was a back-and-forth bout, but in the end, Femi put Saints away to regain the NXT Championship. Femi is now a two-time NXT champion. Saints' title reign started at NXT No Mercy in September, where he defeated Femi to become the champion. After their title match at Deadline, Saints extended a handshake to the new champion, and Femi accepted. Of course, this now means that Femi's got a major match next Saturday at Saturday Night's Main Event in a show that's certainly going to be seen by a lot of people, considering it's John Cena's retirement show. There was a segment on the December 5th Friday Night SmackDown that saw then NXT champion Ricky Saints and Obafemi in general manager Nick Aldis's office. Coming into the office with Aldis was undisputed WWE champion Cody Rhodes. Rhodes broke the news that the winner of Saints and Femi's NXT Championship match at the NXT Deadline Premium Live event would be facing him at Saturday Night's Main Event on December 13th, which is John Cena's final match event. Of course, as mentioned, coming out of the NXT Deadline PLE last night, Femi is the champion. Therefore, he'll be facing undisputed WWE champion Cody Rhodes in a non-title match. This now means 3 matches are confirmed for Saturday Night's Main Event next weekend. Bayley versus Sol Ruca. There's going to be plenty of main roster versus NXT matches. Cody Rhodes versus Obafemi. And, of course, John Cena's final match, which is John Cena versus the winner of the Last Time Is Now tournament, that being the ring general Gunther. Now, it was a certainly busy night for Javon Evans at NXT Deadline, but he was the Iron Survivor. Closing out the 2025 WWE NXT Premium Live Event Deadline was the men's Iron Survivor Challenge match. Competing in the bout were Javon Evans, TNA X Division champion Leon Slater, Miles Bourne, Dion Lennox, and Joe Hendry. With 2 minutes remaining in the 25-minute match, Lennox got out of the penalty box and went after Hendry, who sent him there. Evans attempted to dive onto Lennox, but Lennox caught him, tossed Evans Evans into the penalty box and knocked him in there with the outside referee. Evans ended up climbing out of the box and diving onto Lennox. With a few seconds left in the match, Evans was laid out in the ring after being hit with Leon Slater's Swanton 450. Bourne got out of a tussle on the outside and jetted into the ring to pin Evans, but Evans countered into a cradle pin, which secured him the pinfall. The point totals of the match were as follows. Miles Bourne, Dion Lennox, Joe Hendry, and Leon Slater all had 1, whereas Javon Evans won the match with 2 points. But it didn't end there for Javon Evans, because he was attacked by returning Tony D'Angelo, and Tony D is back in the mix. The 2025 Men's Iron Survivor Challenge winner is Javon Evans. He broke the 5-way tie in that match at NXT Deadline to secure himself a shot at Obafemi's NXT title. We'll talk about when that's taking place in just a second. After Evans' victory, the new champion Obafemi came out on the entrance ramp and stared Evans down. As they were eyeing one another, the lights in the venue went out. Cameras then cut over to a video of an individual walking on a bridge, but there was a light blocking the individual's face. When cameras cut back to Evans and Femi, coming up behind Javon was the returning Tony D'Angelo. Evans was initially startled, but realized it was D'Angelo and extended his hand for an embrace, but D'Angelo laid Evans out. He then stared down Femi. Of course, D'Angelo has been off WWE television since the July 29th edition of NXT. There was a video of him sitting down at a restaurant. He was then approached by unknown individuals, and then the video went dark. So Tony D is back and seemingly coming after the NXT Championship. Now, who he's going to be challenging the NXT Championship for, we'll find out more at NXT New Year's Evil. TNA X-Division champion Leon Slater, Javon Evans, Miles Bourne, Dion Lennox, and Joe Hendry made up the field for that Iron Survivor Challenge match at Deadline. Of course, Evans was victorious, and with this victory, Javon Evans is set to challenge Obafemi for the NXT Championship at New Year's Evil on January 6th, 2026. In the opening match of Deadline, of course, Femi defeated Ricky Saints to regain the NXT Championship. So that match is set for New Year's Evil. Continuing with NXT Deadline, and the Culling certainly made their presence felt last night. Week 1 of NXT's Gold Rush Special was headlined by Tatum Paxley defending the NXT Women's Championship against JC Jane. The Culling, that being Izzy Dame, Sean Spears, and Nico Vance, turned on Paxley and cost her the title. A grudge match between Paxley and Dame took place at NXT Deadline, and it was their first in-ring meeting since the Culling turned on Paxley. Paxley showed up with tears flowing down her face and her makeup smeared. Before the match started, Spears and Vance attempted to distract Paxley, but she knew it was a setup and caught Dame before Dame could ambush her. Towards the end of the match, Paxley hit Dame with a maneuver on the announce desk. Spears then handed Paxley toy dolls of herself and Dame, but he ripped Paxley's doll's head off. Paxley proceeded to slap him. When Paxley got back in the ring, Dame hit her with a big boot and a modified chokeslam that secured Dame the victory. So the Culling certainly continue to pull the strings when it comes to Tatum Paxley. Let's go over to the Women's Iron Survivor Challenge at NXT Deadline, and Kendall Gray is looking to become a double champion. The Iron Survivor Challenge match returned at NXT's Deadline Premium Live event last night. The participants in the bout were Kalani Jordan, Evolve Women's Champion Kendall Gray, Jordan Grace, Lola Vice, and Sol Ruka. The winner of the match secured herself a shot at the NXT Women's Championship at New Year's Evil. Highlights from the bout include Sol Ruka making her entrance as Jordan was making her way to the penalty box. Jordan targeted Ruka's knee, and Ruka had to be helped to the back. Sol eventually came back and immediately went after Jordan. Ruka put up 2 points on the board after hitting a double Soul Snatcher on Jordan and Vice. In the final seconds, Kendall Gray hit her Shades of Grey finisher on Lola Vice to break the 5-way tie and win the Iron Survivor Challenge. This is the scorecard for the Women's Iron Survivor Challenge. Kalani Jordan with 2, Sol Ruka with 2, Jordan Grace with 2, Lola Vice with 2, and Kendall Gray the winner with 3 points. Of course, this means the NXT Women's Championship will be on the line at NXT New Year's Evil as well. There was, of course, the 5-way tie in this Iron Survivor match, but of course, Kendall Gray won it. With Gray's victory, she's earned herself a shot at the NXT Women's Championship at the New Year's Evil special on January 6th, 2026. Of course, that joins the NXT Championship match on that show as well. Speaking of championships, Ethan Page is still the NXT North American champion. One of the title matches on the billing for the NXT Deadline Premium Live event was Ethan Page defending the NXT North American Championship against AAA's Mr. Iguana. The back end of the bout saw Iguana string together some momentum, but it was not enough as Page hit him and put him away with the Twisted Grin. Next up on the docket for Page is that he'll be heading to AAA for an event on December 20th. He'll be challenging El Hijo de Dr. Wagner Jr. for the AAA Latin American Championship. Of course, in addition to being the NXT North American Champion, Page is one half of the AAA World Mixed Tag Team Champions with Women's United States Champion Chelsea Green. Now, several matches and segments have been confirmed for this coming Tuesday's episode of WWE NXT on the CW. Coming out of the Deadline Premium Live event, next up on the slate for NXT is the brand's weekly show on the CW on December 9th. The lineup for that has been announced. It will feature LFG Season 2 co-winner Shiloh Hill in action. Hill's vignettes have been airing on NXT over the last few weeks, and now he'll make his official NXT in-ring television debut. The reigning Women's North American Champion, Blake Monroe, is also hosting an open challenge for her title. There will be a singles match between Kalani Jordan and Jordan Grace. Of course, both competed in the Women's Iron Survivor Challenge match at Deadline, but were not victorious. Grace and Jordan brawled backstage after the match. Also on the schedule is the return of Hank Walker and Tank Ledger from their tour with Pro Wrestling Noah. During their stint with the promotion, they captured the GHC Tag Team Championship. They lost the bouts to Takashi Sugiura and Masa Kitamiya. So that match all set for NXT on Tuesday. Now, some big news when it comes to the AEW Continental Classic last night. Darby Allin has been replaced by Jack Perry in the AEW Continental Classic tournament. Fans got an update on Darby Allin on this week's AEW Collision. Darby is not medically cleared to participate in the Continental Classic tournament, and Jack Perry has been announced as his replacement. On the November 26th episode of AEW Dynamite, Darby Allin went up against Kevin Knight in the Gold League of the Continental Classic. During a spot, he got injured and was later rushed to the hospital. Of course, we wish him the best as he continues to recover from his injury. Speaking of the Continental Classic, we had Night 4 last night on AEW Collision. The fourth night of the tournament took place on the December 6th edition of AEW Collision. The show began with Orange Cassidy versus Roderick Strong in a Blue League match. Strong had the upper hand in the bout and repeatedly hit Cassidy with a backbreaker. The match ended with Cassidy getting a roll-up pinfall. He now has 3 points in the Continental Classic tournament. Of course, as we spoke about previously, Darby Allin has been replaced by Jack Perry in the Gold League. The match in the Continental Classic was from the Blue League. Mascara Dorada faced Claudio Castagnoli and delivered an upset loss to him. Dorada now has 3 points. The final match in the C2 was also this week's main event, a match between Jon Moxley and Konosuke Takeshita in the Blue League. The bout ended with Takeshita hitting Moxley with a knee strike, followed by Raging Fire for a 3 count. Takeshita now leads the Blue League with 6 points, and Moxley eats another defeat. Ricochet retained his AEW National Championship last night on AEW Collision. Ricochet defended his title against Ace Austin of the Bang Bang Gang. This was his first time defending the title on AEW television since winning it last month at Full Gear. Ricochet had also defended the title against Dalton Castle at Ring of Honor's Final Battle pay-per-view 1 day before. Earlier in the match, Ricochet tried to get himself disqualified, but it was only a distraction that allowed the Gates of Agony to hit Austin when the referee wasn't looking. The bout ended with Ricochet hitting Austin with a lariat, followed by Vertigo. Ricochet retained his AEW National Championship in the process. Post-match, FTR attacked Austin, and the rest of the Bang Bang Gang came to save the day from the AEW World Tag Team Champions. Swerve Strickland confirmed what we all had assumed, that is that he will team with Hangman Adam Page at AEW Dynamite Winter is Coming. At AEW Full Gear, Swerve Strickland returned to the promotion after Adam Page's AEW World Championship defeat against Samoa Joe. On Collision, Swerve said he's coming for the AEW World Championship. But before that, he'll team up with Hangman to take on Powerhouse Hobbs and Katsuyori Shibata at AEW Dynamite Winter is Coming. Adam Page had attacked the Ops on the last AEW Dynamite following their match against the Dark Order. Swerve said that this tag team was a one-time thing only. After that, he and Page will have a serious conversation. Speaking of Swerve, not only is he going to be in action at Dynamite Winter is Coming, but also AEW Collision Winter is Coming as well. On the show this week, Swerve Strickland, as I mentioned, agreed to team up with Adam Page on Dynamite. He then set his sights on Samoa Joe's World Championship, but was interrupted by Josh Alexander of the Don Callis family. A match was later confirmed between Swerve Strickland and Josh Alexander for the December 13th edition of AEW Collision. As previously announced, fans will also see a TNT Championship match between Mark Briscoe and Daniel Garcia next Saturday. Along with that, Jamie Hayter and AEW Women's World Champion Chris Statlander will face Julia Hart and Sky Blue in tag team action. Now, a bit of an update here on the potential Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes 3 match at WrestleMania next year. And the news is it might actually not take place at WrestleMania 42. Now, the culmination of Survivor Series War Games 2025 saw WWE build some tension between reigning WWE champion Cody Rhodes and longtime rival turned ally turned maybe rival again Roman Reigns. Prior to the premium live event, it had been teased in reports that War Games would give an indication of what to expect at WrestleMania 42 next year when it comes to the top matches in the men's division, with both Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns and CM Punk versus Bron Breakker being expected for the event. However, according to Dave Meltzer in the Wrestling Observer newsletter, the plans for the main event matches at WrestleMania 42 may still be up in the air. This is all due to the potential of a Seth Rollins return in the lead up to the show, with Rollins himself recently claiming a desire to return in time for WrestleMania in Vegas. If this is indeed the case, it has been discussed of the possibility of Rollins in a marquee match, potentially against Bron Breakker. This would mean that plans could change for Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes, with perhaps meaning Reigns versus Punk or a triple threat clash. At present, the belief is that it's way too early to know for sure. WWE are still wanting to book a third match in the series between Reigns and Rhodes, but it may not be at WrestleMania in 2026. Of course, this is going to be a story that develops over the next few months, so of course we'll let you know in future videos. And finally, there was some controversy recently and headlines made by Becky Lynch regarding some allegations against a former top WWE superstar. WWE's Becky Lynch raised a lot of questions over the last couple of weeks following a claim made in an interview on Something's Burning, in which she revealed that during her early days in WWE, there was a member of the roster who would sleep with members of the female roster, resulting in them being blacklisted by him in WWE in the aftermath of their intimacy. It was suggested to the likes of Lynch at the time to avoid this wrestler, as both accepting or refusing advances would result in the same blacklisting. Lynch didn't reveal who she was referring to, prompting plenty of speculation online amongst fans. According to Fightful Select, WWE have in fact taken note of Becky Lynch's recent comments, with it being intimated to Fightful that they would look into it. There have been no updates on this front since then, so it is unknown for sure if WWE are indeed investigating the claims. It was also noted that Fightful had asked a large number of wrestlers about this situation, though none claimed to know who Lynch was talking about. But there you go, guys. The latest pro wrestling news for you. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. As always, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon.